Welcome to Everyday Money Matters on Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. It's a brand new day. It's the 10th of February, and it's another interesting edition coming to you live from Lagos Talks 91.3. As you know, Everyday Money Matters is brought to you in partnership with our friends from Nairametrics. And today I'm joined with our money team. And I see joining me virtually today is the money man himself, Ugo Dre. And also the finance man, Olumide Adeshina. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Adu. Yeah, hello.
Wonderful.
Mr. Adu, how you doing, my brother?
Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Okay,
Same here,
man. Both of them will be here to help you make sense of all that's going on in the world of money, and they'll give you, the best possible guided advice that you can get to help you navigate this whole financial world. And of course, you can join the conversation. Join us on Twitter and also on WhatsApp at Lagos Talks 913. You can also tag at Nairametrics. And also on WhatsApp, it's 0809-234-5913. That's 0809-234-5913. Okay, so good to have you, gentlemen, once again. So let's start off just a little bit of insight to what's going on, Olumide. What's the latest? What's happening in the world of the economy and finance going on generally around us.
Okay, nice to be on your show, Adu. First of all, at the commodity market, crude oil prices hit past 11-month high, trading about $61 per barrel, and this was due to the fact that demand for energy is coming up, and that really is a good news for Nigeria, positive. The stock market, we saw some profit taking amidst 4 sessions in a row, and that's due to the fact that some earning results refused to spur investors to keep on the bullish bias. So we saw profit taking across board. Then at the macro level, there was a news that came out that wasn't so good, and that was the FDI, the foreign direct investment, where about 26 states in Nigeria received no investment, and that was very poor. States like Lagos received about $8.1 billion, followed by the FCT, which had 1.3 billion, but other states had very poor metrics. So that really was, but coming forth, there was a news that shook the whole crypto community around the world, and that was the fact that the CBN sent a circular reminding banks that they had no business with crypto exchanges and assets. So that's really the summary of what happened in the last 6 days.
Well, speaking of the CBN ban on cryptocurrency, it piques us, or shall I say segues into the first question we have today. And this person is asking, any idea why the CBN banned cryptocurrency? It seems this country does everything to frustrate us, this person says. What are your thoughts on that, Olumide?
Okay, to be fair, one of the statutory powers of the CBN is to ensure that the ecosystem is financially sanitized, and that's meaning that actors of money laundering and illicit activities curbed. So reports from the circular says that they've been seeing a good amount of such transactions, and they gave their buyers that certain countries already exhibit such rules. So theirs were not new. But in the crypto community, coming from the crypto community, a lot of people became so furious because such metrics are being discounted, because if you look at the certain report from an American cyber forensic firm, for example, Chainalysis, it says that Africa is the least exposed to illicit activity through crypto means, and just 2% were exposed to such transactions. And another quarter is telling you that, okay, 90% of all illicit activities is done through the fiat currency, the dollar, for example. Why hasn't that been banned? You understand? And another sentiment is that you just putting putting the bad name on something you don't really understand, because the crypto asset as it is used by many leading financial institutions. Take a look at JP Morgan, a company that has a market value of more than $350 billion. Recently accept crypto payment from two leading crypto exchanges, that's Gemini and Coinbase. And furthermore, they also built a stablecoin infrastructure. These are crypto assets. And don't forget that America is home to the world's most popular fiat currency, that's the dollar. So the bias is that why are you comparing countries that have fundamental issues with crypto, like China? China is a country that bans Facebook, Google, essential because of they're trying to reduce the influence of the Western world. And now you're coming in and saying that these assets are not because of this. So a lot of crypto players in the community are not happy at all. Yeah.
Interesting. I do probably understand why they will not be happy. Sometimes, many of these things you probably think some due diligence or explanation should have gone ahead of it being announced. Anyway, I think that should even just help us segue into more questions that are probably coming from the crypto angle. So this one says, how can I buy and sell cryptocurrency now with this new CBN policy from Nigeria? The second question that will be aligned with that is, what drives the value of cryptocurrency?
Okay.
So take the two together.
Okay, yeah. The second question. Actually, you see, the ban put in place by the CBN doesn't really affect the crypto world because crypto by principle is decentralized, meaning that no central authority really has an hold, including the world's most powerful central bank, that's the Federal Reserve Bank, because by principle, it involves just an exchange of one asset to another without the fiat currency. What happened really with the Naira exclusion is just that it makes it now almost impossible for you to convert your crypto assets to the Naira. So there has been the peer-to-peer principle. So basically, all you just need to do is you can convert your crypto from one asset to another asset or to another currency other than the Naira. So the ban really just limits the use of Naira to crypto transactions. Then the second question was asking, basically, crypto is just like any other underlying asset. Demand and supply is what really triggers this asset valuation, and also the kind of people behind it. If you look at recent reports, the world's most valuable car company, that's Tesla, having a market value of more than $824 billion, recently announced that they're keeping 7.7% of their cash in Bitcoin. Within 6 minutes, Bitcoin rose by $7,000, and that's to tell you that factors like that would definitely trigger appreciation. And going back to the things we've been saying is that when a company like Tesla that has a very sophisticated treasury start accepting Bitcoin, you now start wondering why your country, the Apex Bank, for example, will tell you that these things are used by illicit players.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I do. Let me come in here. I think it's important to balance things out a little bit.
Okay.
So there is, to be honest, there is no central bank in the world that would, at the moment, approve of Bitcoin as their main currency. It's not going to happen. So let's understand that this is basically the central bank, or central banking authority, against people who investors or people who don't believe in fiat currency. Right. So what you see happening is that the Bitcoin is being seen as some kind of commodity. So it's being treated as a commodity now. So it's like you owning a commodity, or you buying gold, or you buying rubber or something, and then you're keeping it because it has a store of value. But in terms of an exchange rate, no central bank is going to approve it. Rather, central banks are probably going to come up with their own digital currency. So there are two things that cryptocurrency does. Okay, so it's a value in terms of as an asset that you can buy and sell, and then it's meant to be a currency. So where the challenge is the currency aspect of it. But in terms of value, there's no bank that can stop it. It will always be, people can always buy it. You can buy anything you want. You can decide you want to start trading flowers. People trade wine. You know that, right? People trade wine. Yeah, people buy wine and sell and keep hoping that after 5-10 years, the value will go up. And then, so different kind of things. So that's crypto as well. But as a currency, no central bank is gonna approve that. So it's important that we all put that into context. There's no central bank that has approved it yet. Even India has banned it as well, right? Even though they took them to court and won. but so that we are also very careful with how we characterize the use of it. Back to you, Adam.
All right, thank you, Godre, for sharing that. So now there's still lots of questions here, but I think you've answered them somewhat, Olumide. But let me just read them for the sake. Maybe there might be one or two things you might want to add. So someone here saying, how do you prevent money laundering using cryptocurrencies? And another person asked a similar question to what we spoke about earlier. It says, what are the factors affecting fluctuation of Bitcoin rates? And this other question here is saying, how do you assess the value of cryptocurrencies to take an investment decision? I think how you can just touch on them. I know you've spoken about it in the bit, but just touch on them.
Yeah, thanks again. And you see, one of the bias coming from the crypto community is that you see, in true value, more than 60% of transactions that have happened has been done through legitimate means. In fact, you see, the blockchain is so transparent. For example, today in the past 6 hours, I can tell you the amount of money that has flown from one point to another point through the blockchain. The blockchain is at one time seen as the best accounting tool ever created, because you see, what it does is the ledger is so transparent. The only thing is that you can't get the names and certain data, but with forensic tools like used by the FBI and Plantia, these are leading forensic firms. What they do is that they connect other things like the URL, the VPN, and things like that. So I think the bias that because it's private, it means that more illicit players come to use it. I don't share that bias. In fact, if you look at recent reports from Barclays and Standard Chartered, these are tier 1 banks in global standings. They have a crypto relationship. In fact, they even have a strong bonding relationship with Ripple. And this is because they realize that you can do transactions faster, more secure. You can't break the blockchain network. Even Regalio, this is Regalio, the owner of the world's biggest hedge fund. That's Bridgewater Associates. These guys manage funds for global central banks and institutions. The guy said Bitcoin is unhackable. In spite of this cyber threat happening around the world, nobody has been able to hack certain crypto assets like Ethereum, and because you see, on the fundamental, you need to understand that the way that it was designed, though it's open source, meaning that anybody can build on it, and that's why we have so many coins. But you need an intellectual understanding of how these processes move from one point to another point. But the problem is that most of the players in the prevailing financial system don't understand these things. And you could see that even the US senators, with all knowledge of finance, they had to pay in crypto experts to educate them on how these things work. So we expected the Apex and other regulators and other stakeholders to do the same, because you see, saying that because you don't see things, these things happen, is not true. There's always a digital trail in the blockchain technology. There's always a digital trail. You can always track, and once you do a transaction, it cannot be deleted. It's always going to happen. Then you spoke about demand, supply, and things like that. Like
sorry. Let me jump in here as well, because I think it's important to balance things out. Okay, I know that you're very passionate about crypto. So let's understand that the cryptocurrency runs on a technology that is called blockchain, right? And the blockchain technology is very, it's probably one of the best inventions that we've seen in recent times, because of what it does, being able to basically record transactions that much better than anybody will do. And then, of course, the blockchain technology as well eliminates third parties. So, Adu, today, if you want to transfer money to me, it has to go through a third party, right? So it goes through a switch, and then it goes through your bank, from your bank to a switch, and then from the switch to your bank, and then to your account, right? So, but Bitcoin doesn't work like that. And Bitcoin is that it goes directly, to you right now. But the fundamental challenge that central banks have with it is it actually designed to go against monetary theory, the whole idea around money. And that's also one challenge that they have that I'm not sure that a lot of crypto enthusiasts also very well understand. So it's going to be difficult for any central bank in the world to allow allow cryptocurrency, okay, that it does not have control over, to dominate its financial system. It's important that people understand that it's going to be very difficult. So it's like somebody can actually take over your country because of that. So that's sort of like the challenge that they have with it. On the other end as well, the fact that I think Olumide kind of touched on it, when you do transfer money, right? Banks or central banks, people want to know who has transferred what. So tax authorities use your bank details or your bank accounts to actually know when you've done a transaction. So they don't have the kind of sophisticated tools that the likes of FBI and CIA have, at least at the moment. So with cryptocurrency, it's a lot difficult to know who has done a transaction because it's cryptic by nature, right? So that's the challenges that they have. So it's important that, kind of like put that into context. Now, it's also true that the world of cryptocurrency, they're a lot more advanced than, the traditional central bankers or traditional lawmakers. They don't really understand a lot about these things because it's a technology that is still quite nascent and continues to evolve on a daily basis. But they have a theory of how money should work. And once you start to have that theory being challenged, then they get very, very concerned. And let's also understand that there's been different kind of theories all over the world for money that they've used, different kind of models. There was a time it was a gold standard because at that time you need to actually have a store of gold. So the more gold you have, then the more powerful you could be as a country. So for some central bankers that I've spoken to, what they tell me as well, or some economists that I've spoken to, is that, look, you've just got 23 million or so Bitcoin. So who owns what? So are you saying that the country that owns the most is the country that now dominates? Okay, so how does that work in a financial system? So today, the world moved from a gold standard to the dollar as the reserve currency. So these are just some of the intrigues that you see here, and that's why cryptocurrency adoption as an exchange rate is what the challenge is as a way of paying for goods and services. That's where the challenge is. But as an asset of transaction, I think that there's going to be fraud in anything or any asset that you want to sell, whether it's land, whether it's cars. People always want to defraud you. So characterizing cryptocurrency as a fraudulent transaction is where I think a lot of banks or central banks are erring. So what you've got to do is regulate how exchanges function so that you and I can go and buy it as an asset. If people think that it can be 100,000 in a year time, why can't I buy it at 40,000 and make a spread of 60,000 as an asset? So while the banks continue to debate around how they can make their own digital currencies, let people at least be able to invest in cryptocurrency and make money out of it. So that's sort of like the kind of balance I'm trying to bring in here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just to add what Gudre spoke about, I want listeners to understand that there should be a balance on both sides, but you need to understand that in technology, balance doesn't really follow the trend. If you remember during the Internet 1.0, when Google started with their proprietary search engine, you saw how they disrupted libraries, bookstores, and in fact, the media took on their head. But today, you can see Google among the most capitalized companies in the world. In fact, if you look at recent trends now, you see that major companies that become successful at the end of this are disruptors, are companies that are able to change business model. You see, the crypto asset is a fundamental disruptor by design. It doesn't follow the traditional way of money theory. So definitely you're going to have critics, you're going to have people that are going to feel threatened, and you can't change that technology. It's already going forward. And I will tell you the need. If you look at it, there are 3 CEOs of $3 trillion companies that are already considering this asset. And that's to tell you that time is not on our side. You remember just 2 months ago, Bitcoin was trading at $20,000. And with all this criticism and this, it's about $47,000. So I think that though the Apex Bank, with its wisdom, has done so much in trying to keep our economy at, but they should allow stakeholders come in and show them how they can optimize this. This is Africa's biggest market. This is a market that moves more than a billion crypto assets yearly. And if you look at it, just our local exchanges, Bitcoins, Quadox, they move $400 million worth of cryptos. That is more than the whole tier two banks transactions in revenue. So I think you need to understand that the narrative is excluding these guys will come at an opportunity cost, because the South Africans, the Ghanaians, they are already contributing. And you see, you don't have to put a country of 200 million people at a disadvantage. That is my own take. Thank you.
Okay, so there is, it seems a lot of people are really agitated over the CBN announcement. So most of the questions sent in kind of center around the cryptocurrency, but this is a certainly different one from the ones that have been sent in. This one is talking about boycotting the issue of the CBN daily dollar limit, particularly for, BTC platforms.
Okay.
How to boycott it? That's the question. The daily dollar limit of the CBN.
You can't really boycott. You see, you can't. The limits placed on fiat transaction was designed to disallow illicit amount of funds and control. Every country, including the Chinese, Americans, have a specific control on how much to flow into an ecosystem. But Bitcoin doesn't do that. The crypto world doesn't allow that. In fact, you can move $1 billion within minutes at little transaction. So there's no control. But albeit it may be, crypto exchanges like Binance, FTX, and so on, they have what they call limits per transaction based on the information you provide. For example, if you are a Nigerian resident and you earn 100,000 monthly, you should be able to explain why you are sending so much with your income. So these crypto exchanges put pegs on what transactions you can do. That's how you can only put limit. But on transactions, you can't put limits on that. Thank you.
So so if a person wants to boycott the issue of the daily dollar limit, what does the person do? So if you want to, so instance, if the daily dollar limit is $200 per day, and the person wants to boycott that $200 daily limit, what action should the person take? I think
I'm trying to be careful here because I mean, we're not going to use. We don't advise you how to boycott, rules and things like that. That's not what we do. So there's a reason why there are rules and and stuff like that. So and I mean, whoever is asking these questions, you got to be careful. We don't want to break the law or try to put you in that kind of direction. You know what I mean? So so if there are rules, there are rules. Just try as much as possible and comply with them.
Yeah, I'm on the same point with Ugodre on that. We don't expose, we don't support you breaking government regulatory, because there are reasons for that process. Like I said, we don't joke with money laundering, terrorism, all these things, because if, for example, you want to boycott, then it means that you have but if you have legitimate causes, there are ways you can still channel money.
I think the legitimate causes is the line of action. Like, so for instance, if the limit is $200 and I need to do a transaction of $1,500, is there something I can do, or
you can go through the bank? You can go to the bank. You can go to fill forms. Like if you, for example, you want to pay school fees, like I'm aware you can pay up to 30 or 40K, and CBN will even give you a fair rate. All you just need to have is genuine evidence that you have these things. You work with the bank. Yeah. So you can do that.
I think that's where the person was. Maybe the choice of word boycott kind of made it look like it was some shady thing the person wanted to do. Okay. Buying from peers has a disadvantage of extremely high dollar rates. That's buying dollars from your peers. What are the substitutes this person is asking here?
Like I said earlier, if you have genuine concern, if you have genuine needs for the dollar, you can go through any of the banks in Nigeria. You understand? The CBN provides FX for such needs. Just that you have to prove evidence. For example, if you're traveling and you have a visa, or you tender your prove your return ticket and stuff like that. If you are paying for school fees and things like that, you show your needs. So basically, the banks can provide such at even a far better rate. So that's not a problem right now.
All right. Thank you, Olumide. Thank you, Go Dre. Do appreciate you always helping to set perspective to the conversation and the questions that people do to have to ask every single Wednesday. All right.
Thanks,
So,
Adu. Yeah.
looking forward to see you guys on Wednesday again. And please tell Lawretta that we, the fans, are waiting for her.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, thanks, man.
All right then. All right.
Bye. Oh, well, you heard it there.